Let's keep this on the play. Couldn't you have played Nettlecyst and Rise Shine and had 2 more blockers? I think it was better to just have 1 blocker, hope they don't have the removal spell, then hold up the blast, and then like... I don't remember having a Nettlecyst sitting in the hand, but I did have to keep up the mana to pay for the Mariner though, right? Do you usually jump when I get 2 losses? I usually jump at 0-2, 1-2. I think the EV is not very good at those records, and like the matches you play against are so bad. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I'd rather like hold up the blast than and hope they don't have a removal spell for my 1 Rise Shine instead. I didn't feel like we had a ton of great options. Scales again. I don't. Is this the same Scales player? Hopefully we can actually draw Supreme Verdict this time. One Hangerback Walker. Okay, especially drawing the blast. We'll go ahead and suit up the Darksteel Citadel, attack for 5. And I think there's a good chance I just wildfired the Saga next turn so they can't tutor up something. I don't really care if they make a construct very much, but like stopping them from tutoring us something is really tough. I can't figure out the gift sub thing, but I'll mess around with it off stream. Sorry, Destructotron. Or post board, sorry. But we also don't need to have a gift sub contest today either. We're playing 1 copy of Blackstaff. I think that like 9 total Ensoulers is like a good number. That's true. They didn't have the Masterpiece Hangerbacks, although you know maybe they only have 1 copy. It's probably a different player. The Scales players are all in college because they're really smart and they can only take a little bit of time off every year to to play. Basilisk Collar, and they're attacking. Attacking is pretty interesting here. Of course, they have like the lifelink from the collar to help them. I'm gonna attack for 5. I don't expect my opponent to block. Scales is underplayed. Yeah, well, I mean, my perception is that Scales is underplayed, so I don't like expect to play against it very often. But Scales is very good. Nettlecyst is interesting. I can play and equip that next turn for +6, which would be a lethal attack. Yeah, a lot of people are subs now thanks to post board. Second Hangerback Walker. Gonna be very good at chump blocking. I feel like maybe this attack with this Hangerback Walker was kind of greedy. A little greed is fine every once in a while. Likely just gonna be playing Nettlecyst with Blast and stuff. Oh, well. We did it. We actually drew Supreme Verdict. Finally. We did it. Let me attack first though, so that I'm like somewhat likely to get the Hangerback Walker to chump, and they only have one blocker here. I'm also not sure if I'm supposed to hold up Stub or if I'm supposed to hold up Galvanic Blast. I guess I'm supposed to hold up Blast so they can't Ozlith their counters on their token, and then I can get like another good attack in. Oh, I forgot that there's a prediction. We did O2 drops, so I guess we have to pay that one out. When I don't set the league predictions, I just don't know that they're there. Ravager's pretty good here. I think I still am not casting the blast yet. Ravager's really good. If they put the counters on the Thopter... Oh, what is happening? Okay, so this is going to be 2 counters on the Ravager right now. 2 counters on the Ravager right now. If I let this resolve and then I let the Ozolith trigger go on the stack, they can sack the Ozolith and they can sack the Caller. Well, if they sack the Ozolith, the counters don't move over though. So this is okay. This is gonna be 2 counters on the Ravager. I let the Ozolith trigger go on the stack. I blast the Thopter in response. If they sack the Caller, the Ravager goes to 4 counters, and then they can move 4 counters into the Thopter, save the Thopter, hit me for not quite lethal. But I do think just... Okay, what happens if I blast the Ravager? If I blast Ravager, they can't save it, or they can... Yeah, they can't. They actually can't save it. Then 1 counter goes here, 7 counters on the Ozolith. I'm not dead to this attack. They're dead if they attack. I can also just force the jump block. Yeah, I'll just bless the Ravager. So you freed 4 months ago, thank you. Yeah, Scales is really, really good. Scales is really, really good. It's just like, people don't play it. It's hard to grind too. Your brain just catches fire. I've been wanting to play Scales with the new Yodian Dissident. Yodian Dissident is a card I've been wanting to play. Can they sack Thopter? This is dealing 4 damage, so they sack here. Even if they sack all 3 of their creatures, their Ravager still dies right now, and they're not presenting lethal with this Thopter token either. They're presenting like 10 damage, and if they attack, they're just dead to my Nettlecyst. And if they don't attack, they're chump blocking, I think. This is not good in Scales. Are we sure? I feel like it's got potential. I haven't. I'm sure someone else has tested it, but 1, 2, 3. I wish it's sure pointless is BD energy in the Scales Discord, and I trust their word. Pointless is BD energy in the Scales Discord. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. There are words, I understand each word individually, but I don't understand exactly what the point being made with those words combined. I'm in Scales fan and Discord. Scales weaker than other options based on a few tests. Okay, that's fair. I believe that's likely the case, possibly the case. Okay, this is how I sideboarded last time. I did miss Boom Bust a little bit, but I think I'm gonna still side like this. I also say that like a lot of times I've never been in like a Magic archetype Discord, but it is my understanding that there's a lot of and maybe the Scales Discord is different because Scales players are big being a 5-head, but there's a lot of I don't know what the right word, maybe like groupthink is the right word, but I think there's a lot of like shooting down of new ideas. At least that was my understanding of like the Burn Discord, especially, where the Burn Discord unanimously agreed, or it was like by far the prevailing opinion, that Lurrus was suboptimal to play in Burn, that Lurrus was worse than the 15th sideboard card. And this was something that was just like repeated over and over again over there. And so maybe it's that's kind of like tainted my opinion of Discord testing groups. I would say the Scales Discord is not that way. Yeah, I imagine it's probably different for each one. Like, I think that the blue-white Discord, from what I understand, is also like a little lost in the sauce, but it probably differs from group to group, and it's actually probably a really interesting, like, I think I want to hold a Blast this turn. It's probably a really interesting, like, human experiment to see, like, how different player bases, like, how, like, what their Discords are like, you know? Can't kill that. Hopefully you can just fuse Wear Tear next turn to effect. Get Plains. Jund Discord? Oh no. Yeah, there's probably no greater a cesspool of what does Obi-Wan say? Scum and villainy than the Jund Discord. Mono red Discord is best. Everyone agrees the deck is bad. Yeah, those have got to be the best ones. Deck's still bad. Yep. Yes, sir. Okay. So this turn we can maybe go Fuse, Wear Tear kills the Boss Saga. Then next turn, the Blast probably can't kill the Patchwork, but I would love to be able to go like Blast plus Dispatch this. I guess I could also go. I can't Metalcraft this turn is the problem, but it would maybe be good to go like Wear this, Blast this if we could. But we can get Metalcraft next turn, so I think this is probably going to be the best line. Considering how many times I've beaten Burn at 3 life with a Rest in Peace in play, I'm not surprised that Evaluaris. Yeah, I know. But I agree, it's probably different for each Discord. And I also, like, you know, if you're telling me that you playtested Dissident and it wasn't good, I hear you, I believe you. Like, I just wanted to test it for myself, you know? I hear you, I believe you. Okay, so I think they're gonna activate Hangerback Walker. I think in response to Hangerback Walker, I can either dispatch Ravager or dispatch the Hangerback Walker, and I can go Blast, pay for this, and then I can Ensoul to like block. I don't know which of these two I want to. So if I dispatch the Walker, they're just gonna sack it to Ravager, and then they have both in play. I probably have to dispatch the Ravager. So let me go ahead and blast the Automaton and pay on my turn, though, so that I definitely get to do this. And, I mean, if they want to sack the Ravager to save the Automaton, I don't really mind that. I would love to see Scales content. I've streamed Scales a little bit. They can move the counters to Inkmoth. I think so. That's okay. Or if you blast the Ravager, then dispatch the Hangerback and leave the Automaton. Well, if I blast the Ravager, they're going to respawn by sacking the Hangerback, and there will be tokens in play. It won't be a target, right? Tamio's safekeeping? Maybe. Yeah, it looks like they're just, you know, saving their Automaton, and so now I think I probably just dispatch the Hangerback Walker, and then I can just use my Ensoul Artifact to basically stonewall this going forward. I will let them tap out of like potential Tamio safekeeping, I guess. I mean, they only have one card in their hand. I don't really think there's anything that I get super punished by. There's like one land like Saxon. They sometimes play. I haven't even seen it in a really long time, but it's like the Kolos land, sack an artifact, gain 1 life. That card would really get me here if they had it. Not like super. Not really a card I'm probably supposed to be playing around. Why is Grove in scale? So they need their base green, but they want to be able to activate Zabaz, and they have a lot of colorless. So like a lot of times they just tap it for colorless, but it's like a pretty good red-green fixer. I do agree that, you know, it being an aggro deck, it can be kind of awkward to gain your opponent some life, but they also deal damage in giant chunks, and it doesn't matter that much all the time. All right, teensy bit flooded here. I went to the Trash or Treasure Asmo deck. It was good. It was fine. I think that I probably prefer the Troll King variant at the moment, but I would play it again. Oh, Pendlehaven actually, like, this means they're infecting me for 3 every turn. It's pretty good. They have 10. They can't use these counters. Ravager can't like just move any counters on any permanent like the Ozolith can. We really need to draw like exactly Pithing Needle. Dude, imagine if Ravager just like could also Ozolith every time it sacks something. It's still more than enough. Not this turn. My opponent can deal 5 infect this turn. I'm at 4, so they that's more than enough though. This is more than enough. Oh yeah, Boom Bust would be Boom Bust would do it. Yeah, I think for game 3 I'm gonna play more Boom Bust. I've like really wanted to draw it like several times against Scales today, and I've been. New Ravager gives your artifact features modular. Was it like Modern Horizons 3 Ravager? Yeah, I haven't conceded. I'm a deck with removal, so I'm just gonna make sure that they go for it. They're going for it here, so we will now concede. Yeah, I think maybe 3 Boom Busts is gonna be the number I go with. Maybe cut the Blackstaff and go down to land. Glimmervoid Spire as our only mana, but we would have like a pretty reasonable hand otherwise. Oh, this hand's really good. Did a list inspire this one? Yeah, we did some like deck techs for this archetype a while ago, and then there was like a 5/0 like blue-red control list that was playing like the artifact lands. It was playing Rise and Shine, and so we brewed it together on stream on Saturday, and I'm trying to remember. I think it started off looking like pretty different from how it currently looks, but yeah, it was definitely an inspired list. Is this MTGO? It is, yeah. I don't know if you thought it was a different thing. It is MTGO, and I'm MTGO user, Aspiring Spike. See if they feel the need to chump block aggressively here. Okay, I'm gonna definitely Boom Bust that Saga. I can also Boom Bust the Grove, and then the Saga's gonna like die in like 2 turns, and I guess they do usually play like 1 Springleaf Drum. I think it's like somewhat close between which one to target though. I thought Arena was a replacement. They run side by side. Yeah, they run side by side. So like Arena was supposed to be the replacement, right? But Arena just like could not handle the older formats, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and they coexist now, or they always have coexisted, but like. I think in an ideal world, the Wizard executives would have loved to kill Magic Online, but like Arena just wasn't like a good enough client to replace it. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I should Needle here. I don't really die to anything. I'm at 18 life. My opponent has Ravager. I'm not dead. If they go land, if their 3 cards are land, Hardened Scales, Arcbound Ravager, I think I die. But I think I'm just supposed to pass and be able to verdict next turn. So I'll probably end up casting this Needle pre-combat, and then that probably incentivizes my opponent to make a Saga token here in response, and then I get to verdict. And then I don't know if I name Saga. I don't really care if they make another Urza Saga token. I could name Inkmoth. Yeah, I think if they just make another Saga token, I'm really thrilled. I love plays like this that like this didn't actually force my opponent to make the Saga token, or it did, but like just like the bait plays that make them play into your other card. I love plays like this. You don't get to make them as often as maybe I'd like. Oh, I should have named Haywire Might. Although we're still not doing that bad against Haywire Might. Maybe they get to kill my Ensoul Artifact. Blast in there at 5. Yeah, I realized a little too late there. A lot of good top decks. My opponent cannot tap this for mana or they die. Oh yeah, they get to gain 2 though. Right. I guess if they tap the Spire for Zabaz for Haywire Might, I win. So they would do that so I won't gain a life, but that's probably not correct. Maybe they'll kill the Needle. They make the right call, and they do target the Ensoul. I haven't seen too many Haywire Mites lately, but I should have needled that. We're still doing well. We have Kaheera. Kaheera plus Galvanic Blast is lethal. Hopefully they just like commit into the verdict like next turn and we get like a pretty clean 2-for-1 followed by Kaheera. Ozolith is good for them, especially if they have a good follow-up. That is definitely a follow-up. Why'd they hit Ensoul, not the Relic? Haywire Might can only target non-creature artifacts, and the Haywire Might was at the time a creature. Probably would like to save that to bust potentially. I think I should probably play Kaheera. And then if they don't draw a creature, we're just in amazing shape. But if they do draw a creature, they may be playing into the verdict, and maybe we don't get to blast them immediately, but we're still in good shape. Yeah, busting live on stream. Alright, the Nexus is currently needled, so we're not going to bust that. I think we will probably, or we'll boom the Grove. Oh well, we'll just blast them. Or does Tamiyo safekeeping? I guess we'll try to bait Tamiyo safekeeping. I think that can target lands. Alright. We'll keep. We have full house. Yeah, Galvanic Blast for lethal is just always the most satisfying shit ever. Maybe I didn't have 3 red to boom boom then blast, but I agree I think it would have if we had the mana. I think we put back the stub. Okay, happy to have verdict against Hammer. I do think I'm pretty likely to go Galvanic Blast next turn, though. We'll see. Obviously, we'll just see what happens. But I'm not going to blast on turn 1 and give my opponent a card. Just get our artifact land into play here. Okay, so they got Colossus Hammer. I do think I'm probably supposed to not put them on Cauldron hand. I mean, I'm so soft to Cauldron again. I'm also really soft to Paladin plus equip. I guess they're gonna have a hard time Paladin equipping. You can obviously have Sigarda's Aid. I'm kind of soft to Sigarda's Aid anyways. But yeah, let me. I just don't think I could put them on the Cauldron. If they have the Cauldron, they have the Cauldron. But I think I need to like just not cast the blast right now, so I can get the Sentinel either off the table or, like make it to where they can't really cast their Paladin this turn, and then I can cast Boom Bust, and maybe I take 1 hit from a Hammer, and then I get to Verdict on turn 4. Worst case scenario is Blacksmith skill would be really bad because they would actually even get to draw a card and protect this because I couldn't pay 3. All right, and now I have to make sure I target the right land, which I have definitely done all day today. Okay, so I think we're not dead to a Hammer. Equip. I think we take most of our life total, but not all of it, and then we get to Verdict. Hopefully, so everything works out. There is Hammer, 2 mystery cards. Best case scenario, yeah, best case scenario would be Paladin, Hammer, no equip because they don't have Metalcraft. Awesome, wow, we're living in the best timeline, huh? So 4 cards in their hand. One of them is pretty good. Okay, they're pretty far away from Metalcraft, at least. Nettlecyst is like the more mana efficient play by a pretty significant margin. Okay, I think what I'll do is I think I'll go Rise Shine and then just Ensoul Artifact now. Where like I could go Rise Shine, hit them for 4, but then like 4 plus 9 isn't lethal, and I think I like being able to just like cast a Nettlecyst next turn. Thoughts on Shadow Spear in the deck? Do you ever? I think Shadow Spear is like just not a good card without like a way to tutor it. It's just like pretty weak. It's not a card I want to put in a deck without Urza Saga really. So what color is this? This is colorless, I assume. All right, Hammer is good top deck. They need another artifact to kill me. And they got it. Okay. Game 2. So many artifact opponents today. I actually had Brothers War in my first draft. I ended up cutting in my sideboard. But we have a lot of sideboard cards too. So yeah, I think I want to keep more Boom Bust. I mean, that was against Scales. Maybe this is not as true. But maybe I cut the I don't like the Nettlecyst so much against these aggro decks. But maybe I just play like 3 Boom Busts and no Stubborn Denials. Stub is okay. It's the thing is it's kind of slow. It just doesn't get turned on like in time. Yeah, Brotherhood End. Maybe we could play the 4th on the play. I don't know. Their curve is also really low, which is kind of the awkward thing about the Boom Bust. But killing Saga, killing Nexus is nice, and there's like a lot of top decking that goes on, and like being able to top deck Bust in the late game is actually like a real thing. Right, this hand's great. Turn 3 Supreme Verdict. We have Relic if we draw a Ensoul. Good hand. Kind of weak to a turn 1 Esper Sentinel, but that's maybe like the motto of every deck I play ever. Is the first copy of Flagstones better than Second Plains? No, I think you need like at least 3 basics to tutor up with your Wildfires. So maybe just like, you know, Wildfire pay next turn into like turn 4 Verdict. And then also, yeah, I mean, 2 white, more planes through Blood Moon is important, but I think just being able to like Wildfire yourself multiple times in a game more consistently is more important. Yeah. Springleaf Drum. Let me go tear their Saga, pay for both Sentinels. And I can even go Wildfire. If I don't need to Verdict next turn, I can just Wildfire myself, pay 2, then Verdict, pay 2 if I draw a land. Why not exile the Sentinel? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm going to Supreme Verdict all of their Sentinels in a couple turns. Was my my thinking. Maybe I'll Wildfire this Saga. Like I'm just like not under much pressure at the moment. And I think I'd rather just clean all these up with Supreme Verdict rather than like waste my dispatch like that. And also like if I dispatched on their turn, I let them draw a card, you know. We'll let them play one more creature. I can go Verdict, pay once, maybe. Maybe just wait still. Third Saga is like really good against this like make them play into Supreme Verdict plan, unfortunately. We considered Thoughtcast. We spent a lot of time building this deck on stream. I ended up opting against it. Right. I don't want to Verdict and like let them draw a card this turn and then like they still have Saga to rebuild. So I'll try to play Kaheera and then maybe they like just make 2 Saga tokens. I chump block a Saga token with Kaheera and then untap and Verdict, maybe paying 2. Agreed. I mean, I think this line is just correct. I don't know. I think it would be a waste of Verdict. Let them draw a card. Then they still have the Saga. I still have Dispatch up to like Emergency. I mean, I guess not really against the Giver, huh? But it really seems like they're just mostly in on the Saga. Okay. So now we'll Rise Shine, pay 2. And then this will be our blocker for their constructs. And maybe they know the Shadow Spear trick, maybe they don't. Can we just play Broken Affinity from Pauper and Modern? Maybe like card for card, I'd allow it. The Shadow Spear trick is turning off the Indestructible from Darksteel Relic with Shadow Spears flavor text. Yeah, Overload Rise Shine into Untapped Verdict would have been pretty sweet, but I just can't give them 2 cards, I think. So I do think if they attack with this construct, I'm supposed to block, since it's like I shouldn't like Pro Colorless, okay, sure. Because if they know the Shadow Spear trick, they're gonna get to kill my relic anyways. I would have jumped with Kaheera like we planned, save Rise for 2 turns from now. I mean, this is way, way, way better against them going for a hammer, which is like what I'm scared of. And also, like, I think it's, you know, it's not usually correct to like play around your opponent misplaying, but I would even say like greater than 50% of Shadow players would miss the fact that they can Shadow Spear to kill my Darksteel Relic when I Verdict. You know, I would say if this was a pop quiz, more than 50% of Hammer players would fail that quiz. Or no, not like a literal pop quiz, but like, because then they would think about it for a second. Okay. So I guess we'll probably let them have a card. I guess not. Oh my gosh, I would click Kaheera. If they've been like sandbagging Hammer plus Equip good beats. Although we played against 2 good Hammer players who both see the line. Both see the line. That being said, I think we leveraged that Verdict really well. The fact that they had 3 Urza Sagas, like, it really, really played well against my plan to leverage the Verdict well, but... Equip Shadow Spear? Okay. I think I like the lines you've taken. One really nice thing about these spots where we've controlled the board successfully, we're top decking. Now like any Rise Shine we draw or any Boom Bust we draw is just like gonna be amazing. See if they get Nettlecyst or Cauldra. They get Cauldra. They just have 7 mana, which is really frustrating. Although I guess if I kill Nexus, kill Stoneforge Mystic, then they don't have 7 mana anymore. Bust seems bad for Shadow Spear. Oh, I thought for a second it was non-land permanence. Yep. I agree, seems bad. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Can't even attack, not as indestructible. Yeah, I failed the pop quiz. Dude, it's such a weird interaction, I don't know.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Thank you, Roro. Alright, so am I gonna take 6 here? The problem is, like, even if I draw Dispatch, which would be my main out, they just have mana to equip and stuff. So if I draw Rise Shine, I wonder if I'm able to even erase. Maybe not. I only get 4 creatures, which is a lot, but they're at 26. I don't think it's enough. Yeah. I can chump block for a turn. It's just not good enough. Yeah, Hammer is a very good deck, huh? Hammer is a very good deck. I'll keep this. Oh, Teamer Reckon Standard. That mirror was Really, really interesting. I remember I played a standard PT where like Temur Rec was the best deck, and I played in a Seaf list that was this blue-white control list that was really supposed to beat up on Temur Rec. And I started off that PT like I do every PT, like really hot. I was like 6-1. I was feeling really good, and I was like farming Temur Rec for like the first part of the day. And then, like day 2, I play against all Temur Rec also, and then I just get farmed by it. It was so weird, and I felt like I was playing well, and I really think it was like I had just misevaluated the matchup, and I was running really well against them, or maybe I was like playing against like, you know, players who weren't as experienced for the first part of the day. But I've just never played a tournament like that where I go into a tournament feeling like I have a great matchup against the deck. I beat it like 5 times in a row, and then the same tournament I lose to it like 5 times in a row. It was just like, I don't know what changed. It was so weird. Although, okay, two of those matches, 2 in a row, like I was only dead to my opponent having exactly the 4th copy of Shark. It was so weird. It was 2 matches in a row. Game 3, I'm winning the game very easily if my opponent doesn't have exactly the 4th copy of Shark Typhoon in their hand. And 2 games in a row, they had exactly the 4th Shark Typhoon in their hand. That was so frustrating. Thoughts on Cyber Drive Awakener in a constructed deck? I don't remember what that card does. It's probably not going to be a modern card. Yeah, way too expensive for modern, sadly. Oh, it is E-Tron. I thought it would have been coffers too. Hello, Heartless 70 Go. It was. I don't remember what the final league was, but we had I think a 4-1 with it, and it was definitely a good time. Oh, it's also not legal in modern. Well, definitely not a modern card. Hopefully they don't have Dismember. Wait, is that a Transformer card? Yeah, I agree. The Heartless 70 deck is probably really sick in paper. I wanted to like work on it some more, but my finger just couldn't handle it. What was the deck I made that had Brindle in the 75? It was a deck that was playing Collected Company and Witch's Cottage and Unearth, and so I thought like with those 3 cards, Brindle board and Burn was like kind of popular at the time. It's like with those factors, I had like 2 Brindle boards in the sideboard, and everyone made fun of me. Probably better to play Citadel so I can play another artifact land next turn to grow the Nettlecyst rather than make sure I just get everything into play untapped here. Yeah, I don't think we talked about the Harry MTG thing. I think it'll end up getting fixed, as far as I understand. So Harry has been like grinding YouTube really hard. He's putting out some of the highest quality like Magic YouTube stuff on the platform. And he had some hackers steal his account, and they were like doing like an Elon Musk scam or something. I don't. It was kind of weird, but I mean, hackers are always kind of weird, I guess. And maybe a few outs to kill them here. Oh, I guess just Ensoul Artifact this turn. No, we can draw Galvanic Blast too. Yeah, his YouTube video is really good. So like he lost his channel, and then I think YouTube gave him his channel back. I don't know if he got his videos back, but I think he got his channel back. And then YouTube banned him because of the actions that the hackers took while they had the channel, which was really weird. And so I think that he'll get unbanned. I really doubt that the ban will stand. But you know, it may just take longer than you would ever expect. Okay, so I can't cast the other Nettlecyst pre-combat, but I can just go play a land, kill the Karn, hit my opponent for 5, play another Nettlecyst. Yeah, I think that it'll get overturned. It may just take like, you know, too much time. But it would be really sad. Like, it would be really sad if his videos were gone because he didn't have a backup of them, or he did. And he had to like reformat his PC hard drive when he got hacked, and he doesn't have them now. So they got Ratchet Bomb here. Ratchet Bomb is not going to stop them from dying because I can just equip onto my Darksteel Relic. So they have to have Ratchet Bomb plus like Dismember here. Or maybe like, you know, just a blocker. Did you see the format legality update? No, was there anything interesting there? Oh, they do have Dismember. Okay, well. Good beats. Ensoul kills them. No Ensoul. Let me go ahead and keep them off Tron. I think that's probably a bit more relevant than ramping for one here when I can still cast all my 6s next turn anyways. Although I guess, I mean, Rising Stride could kill them anyways. They're dead to any of my 9 Ensoul effects. I guess I only have 8 more in the deck. They're also dead to good old Galvanic Blast. Good to see that they have a waste in the deck too. It's important info for game 2. I'm going to be bringing in Needle, I think. I'm going to cut all the Supreme Verdicts. Like even if they're on the Eldrazi game plan, their Eldrazi are just smaller than my creatures, so I don't think Verdict really matters very much. I think I do want another stub to have as many answers for Karn as possible, and then we can play like 2 copies of Wear Tear. Is Black Eldrazi a known deck? So they're not really Black Eldrazi, but they're just Eldrazi-tron playing 1 basic swamp, so they have an out to Void Mirror is really what they're doing. And the swamp is like the best basic because it taps for Dismember. Yeah, my opponent chose Ratchet Bomb instead of Bridge. I think that they thought the Ratchet Bomb would destroy the Relic. I'm not 100% sure that that's what happened, but I performed a cursory vibe check, and that's what I read. Oh yeah, Beseiju too. Pre-release is no longer pre-release. That's the announce. That's fine, I guess. It's like they probably did that because of the whole regional championship thing, right? Because like getting cards for the regional championship was very difficult because it was release weekend instead of pre-release weekend. That's great. Great change. Great change. Okay, stop my Chalice on 0 to stop Darksteel Relic. Now I've seen everything. I bet we draw 1 too. Doesn't making them legal for pre-release make it harder since you have to get them earlier? Well, that's a good point. So like that would be true if they also bump like regional championships up a week, which I wouldn't expect them to do. But as the wise Andrea Mengucci once said, Wizards mostly does things at random, so it is hard to say for sure. Twitch mostly does things at random, or Twitch too, but Wizards companies. My opponent kept a 1-lander against the Boom Bust deck. They just had to have their Chalice on 0. Have you ever made a Naya Stoneboy list? I did pretty early into Modern Horizons 2. It was playing Imperial Recruiter, and you could Imperial Recruiter for Toski. It was awesome. Rise and shine. And if we Ensoul Artifact this, it'll be out of this Dismember range. Why did they keep a 1-lander? Still not going to Philly for MagicCon? We'll see. It's still like a little ways out. I'm kind of tired of traveling at the moment. I played a lot of events at the end of the year, and I went to the Professor for the collab and all this stuff, and I'm just kind of right now. I don't want to go anywhere, but in 2 months maybe when MagicCon, I'll decide a little bit later. Alright, if my opponent's not going to concede, I will destroy the Urza's Tower. Okay, they do concede. It was something. But min cash is $100, and the entry fee to like get into DreamHack is $100 too for the weekend. And so it's like, Mincash pays back your entry fee for like this invite-only tournament. I think is really bad. You shouldn't have to pay the invite for these tournaments. I think I'm playing Canal on turn 1, so I could hold up Blast. I'm not sure if I need... I don't know what I'm playing against. But I could still Wildfire turn 2. Did RC people make people pay to be in the hall? Yep, they were in like a separate hall too because there was too many people. I think it would be great if Wizards could like I know it's different system for like different regions, but I think that the DreamHack being so involved with the American RCs is pretty bad for Magic because in my opinion I just don't think that DreamHack cares at all about Magic or knows anything about Magic. Okay, so I'm pretty likely to play Nettlecyst this turn so I could block a Goblin Guide. We'll see. That's the downside of having these events at big events instead of old PTQ system. You paid for other PTQs as well. Yeah. I agree to some extent. Like, it would be really cool if Wizards could, like, you know, have like, you know, higher channel Fireball or, you know, a more independent organizer, make it its own event. It should be its own event. Yeah, Ensoul is better against Searing Blaze. But if I'm Ensouling, I would like really like to be able to attack the same turn. But it is true that like my Nettlecyst token like survives starting next turn, so let's do this. I would really like to be able to attack. I don't think I can attack though. The Canadian RC was a good event. Yeah, that's good to hear. From what I understand, like most people are unhappy in the States and they're unhappy in Europe, and I haven't heard much about Asia or South America. Does Australia have its own RC? I actually don't know that. Any Australians in the chat? Maybe I should have attacked first. Yeah, CFP Vegas was definitely a good time. Oh yeah, I forgot to think Goblin Guide. Borstrom getting me down to a very relevant 9 life. Yeah, I guess it's not the best time zone, huh? Okay, so let me equip... I guess equipping doesn't matter since these are 2 different lethal attackers. Oh, well, let me not bother with Kaheera either. Their hand must be pretty bad. Now they have to have 3 1-mana burn spells, and... or I guess Swift Spear plus 2 1-mana burn spells would do it. Goblin Guy wouldn't have done it in this spot. Bummer. We were pretty likely to die this turn, but yeah, I don't think we could have played around this. Maybe we could have. That being said, I'm not too worried about this matchup. Our mana base is not very painful. We do have a couple Spire of Industries, and we have a lot of 1-mana counter spells too, which is, I think, a pretty good combo for this matchup. I do think that the Supreme Verdicts are likely going to be a little slow. Like, usually I just don't like Supreme Verdict that much against burns. Maybe do something like -2 Nettlecyst, +2 Dispatch, 4 Verdict, 2 Nettlecyst. It's probably fine. Yeah, if we Verdict, our Nettlecyst token dies, unfortunately, and we were 1 mana short of being able to equip our Nettlecyst onto the Ensoul land and attack. Yeah. Verdict being able to kill Eidolon for 0 damage, it can be fine, but like it doesn't like happen. Like they usually get to attack you with the Eidolon before that happens, anyways. You know what I mean? Staff for 3rd Dispatch. I would honestly probably rather play like a Nettlecyst over the staff. Maybe I was a little too slow. But you also like kind of need your pressure. Okay, this hand has no artifacts, so I think we have to mulligan. This hand is interesting. It's a turn 2 boom. Let me keep this. I'm gonna put back one of the 2 blue counter spells. I guess I put back the stub for right now. Why is land destruction good against burn over dispatch? I mean, they keep low land hands a lot of the time. It slows them down a lot to have their lands destructed. It just kind of depends, though, I guess, what their draw looks like. But turn 2 land destruction is, you know, fine against most modern decks also. Though worse against double Goblin Guide. Rise and Shine is a very welcome addition to this team, though. Yes, thank you, Goblin Guide. My opponent did miss their second land, so another Boom Bust would be awesome. Oh, they might just start sacrificing Goblin Guides for 4 damage. Oh, thank you, Goblin Guide. Then we're drawing a Blackstaff of Waterdeep after that. So I guess I can play Blackstaff, and then this gives me Metalcraft for dispatch, and then hopefully they don't draw another land. But if they do, I'm also hoping they attack with the Goblin Guide. They don't. So let me go ahead and dispatch. There's a Flusterstorm. I think I'm probably supposed to activate Blackstaff, play a land, then I have double Flusterstorm up starting. Okay, attack with this so they can't kill the staff. Starting next turn. Maybe it was better to attack with both, and then I could force a chump next turn. But then I'm dead to land double burn spell, so that's kind of scary. Gilligan, 16 months, thank you. With double Flusterstorm up, I'm feeling relatively okay. In fact, I think I should just okay. Attacking here loses to exactly 4th Goblin Guide, and nothing else, right? Yeah, I lose to exactly land 4th Goblin Guide 1 mana burn spell. So, oh no, it loses to Swift Spear 1 mana burn spell too. That's right. I think it's probably still fine to attack like this. Just like, because like if they draw a land and like I go Flusterstorm, and they just double burn spell again because they have 6 cards in their hand, it's really tough. Loses the Boarstorm? No, we have double Flusterstorm. Weird game. I don't know why they're waiting to cast the burn spell. It's like if I have a counter spell, it's over. They shouldn't let me draw a card first. So if I have a counter spell, it's over. They should do it on their main phase or my upkeep. I think on the draw, I'll cut the staff for 3rd dispatch. Maybe it could be better as 3rd Nettlecyst. Probably somewhat close either way. This is an acceptable hand. Definitely kind of slow on the draw against burn. It is nice that we have a relatively painless mana base for the most part, although we do actually have to tap Spire for mana with this hand, which I don't love. Okay, this makes that not true, which I think is valuable. Down to 10. They have 3 cards in their hand. So if I Wildfire this turn, I can Ensoul Artifact. No, I can't because the Seachrome Coast will enter tap, so we'll just boom. Having a 3rd land is bad. But they don't have any more 1 mana burn spells in their hand, which will maybe be our saving grace. Why didn't you just play Coast then? If I play Coast, I guess I should play Coast over Spire. Okay, dead to 1 mana burn spell. They didn't have it last turn. Okay. Tough, 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 tough. Alright, good hand. We can blast on turn 1 with the Relic and the Spire. Like, all of your best draws involve Darksteel Relic. I think you just want to jam 4. Oh, we're going to get to play against Murktide. Awesome. Love to see it. Everybody's favorite monkey. I guess I don't love that I can't boom on turn 2. That's okay. We can boom on turn 3. He's the first one to play that phrase. I guess. I'm pretty happy to play against it. The matchup, I think, is, especially with the 4 verdicts in the main, should be pretty good. I played against Scam last night too, and like the indestructible creatures were so absurd in the matchup. And so like they do have, Murktide does have some bounds, so they're maybe not as good against Murktide. They're still really good, but like the 4 verdicts of the main is pretty premium too. Hello, Lucy. Hello. You wanna get in your chair? If you get in your chair, we can put the Santa hat on you. Come here. They got the Exile Ledger Shredder, which they aren't able to play. They shock in Steam Vents for what is, if I had to guess, going to be a Spell Pierce. So how do we feel about just like not playing into Spell Pierce, and we can go like maybe Verdict next turn, and then just play around like Nettlecyst the following turn? I'll get the Spell Pierce out of their hand. Lucy. Yeah, we can still resolve the Nettlecyst is kind of the thing. But it is true, like, if they just don't play another creature, like, maybe I want to play Nettlecyst instead of Verdict. And then will Lucy wear the hat? No. Okay, very likely counterspell up. Let me play around second Spell Pierce, just go Kaheera in hand, play this tapped. Yeah, I miss when it was Athena stream too. She just doesn't like to sit in one spot like Lucy does, you know. Maybe just gonna die to the DRC. I do not love how this was a tank counterspell. I do not love that. Any Murktides over there? I mean, I will say that the Supreme Verdicts are probably somewhat tricky to play around game 1 from our opponent. Okay, we'll settle for that. Squeak as much value out of this as possible. So 2 cards in their hand. One of them is almost definitely a counterspell. I guess it could be at Holy Heat. They could have been thinking about heating the token instead of countering the Nettlecyst. I guess that would make some sense. We're in a spot where Boom Bust, Rise Shine are overloadable. But they do have the Murktide, unfortunately. Oh no. Losing game 1. That being said, we have a lot of cards. We have a lot of cards that come in. I have been cutting the Boom Busts a lot and regretting it. That being said, I do feel like this is still a matchup where I do want to cut them. They can just operate on so few lands. You want a Flusterstorm? I don't think so. Like, Flusterstorm just like helps you win counter wars and counters iteration. I just don't think that's that important in this matchup. Nettlecyst keeps out of the week. I don't know if I think the Nettlecyst are weak. It's like not that hard to get them out of like an Holy Heat range, and then if they do remove the token, then you get to move it over. Although I guess the nice thing about cutting Nettlecyst actually is that this turns off any of like their Brother's Hood End and stuff. Like their Brother's Hood End is just a dead card. So I kind of like that idea actually. Turn 2 rip. Let me mulligan this. Too many lands. I like this one a lot. Yeah, just like they're like boarding like this, and their removal is all actually dead is pretty cool. Tech for 2 tall Tim. Any spell pierces? Always a spell pierce. Judge is familiar. Wild Cantor. General Ferris. Rockrick. So I will say that in my... I'm going to get Island here so I can Island through Blood Moon if they board that in. In my experience playing General Ferris Rockrick, this is one of 2 ways you can go. You can like greatly diminish the card quality in your deck by playing Judge's Familiar and Wild Cantor to get up to that multicolor density you need for General Rockrick. Or you can just play Chalice. And then you don't have... And that's like your reason you're not playing any 1-drops is you're playing Chalice. And... you don't have to play Judge's Familiar Cantor. I do agree that Cantor gets a lot better in this version that is able to turn 2 Blood Moon. I think I'll hold up Blast for Ragavan over Kaheera in hand. But it's still like not a card I like all that much. These Boros Charms are also like... Boros Charm is good when you have a lot of removal. I think with like... you not having that much removal, I'm a little less happy with all of these main deck Boros Charms. I've gone down this road before though, and I do agree that Boros multicolor, you don't have that many good options. I would probably play the 4th copy of Showdown of the Scalds. I'd probably play the 4th copy of Showdown of the Scalds. If you want to stay Boros. Not putting Kaheera. I'm not putting Kaheera in my hand so I don't get spell pierced on my Galvanic Blast. Yeah, Dryad Militant might be better than Judge's Familiar. That card also like really sucks. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem is that all the 1-mana multicolor cards are very weak. There's not really any good ones. And the multicolor cards in Boros, you also don't have infinite options. Guess I'm gonna Verdict. And I think, like, from what I can tell, you have all the, like, the somewhat playable ones. Manamorphose, Lightning Helix is, like, even, like, not great, but you can play it. Rip Apart is not great. It's been pretty consistent on either turn 2 Mud or Rockrick. I've got a lot of forward ones. Yeah, I think Wild Cantor is okay. Wild Cantor is okay. It does diminish your card quality, but it's okay. It's not as good as you really want it to be, in my opinion, but it'll probably get the job done. I think I'd probably dispatch this, and maybe if they counter it, I can top deck Rise Shine. I feel like we've been super flooded all day today, also. I don't know if we're supposed to be going down on lands or not. But I do feel like that has been a little bit of an issue today. Did it feel like my opponent had a counter spell? I think... Oh no, this is the Darksteel Citadel I just played. They're probably going to counter this anyways. But I was thinking I could Kaheera this turn instead. Spell Snare. Good shit. At least it didn't Spell Snare Overloaded or Eye Shine. Yeah, I mostly just want to get Judge's Familiar out of the deck, and I want to get, I don't know. I like the problem here is like I don't like the multicolor cards you are playing in the main deck. I just don't know that there are better options because I have gone down this route and in the past I haven't been able to find better options. I know I really want the 4th Showdown of the Scalds. I probably wouldn't play the 4th Helix. Or that could just be the cuts for Judge's Familiar. You could also cut like 2 of the Boros Charms. Rip Aparts are maybe okay. One issue I think this deck has also doesn't have any answers to Murktide in the main. Right on time. Right on time. Yeah, I agree this deck has been pretty fun, but it definitely hasn't been performing today, unfortunately. Let's pivot though, real quick. I want to play one league of the Sultai Neo brand deck that we played on Friday. This deck was performing pretty well. It was doing a lot of very powerful stuff.